What's up, everybody? This is Nadir of GamesMusicLyfe. Come back with a quick review of this PartyNextDoor album titled P3. Just came out 2016. Came out about a week ago, two ago. We actually talked about it on the podcast this week, and I actually wanted to get my proper review of the album because I did kind of dive in and listen to it. I'm a big PartyNextDoor fan. This is his first released album. He has some other mixtapes that came out before, and I thought they were pretty good. I thought this one was okay, but I'm just gonna dive into it, just give my quick, just reviews and reactions on what I thought of the album. First thing, before I even, more so get into it, I will say that the entirety of OVO, that whole camp they got going over there, you can tell when you listen to this album that they all just kind of just collab on a lot of music. They kind of sit in a room and maybe come up with concepts on songs and maybe just feel like who would be the best person for the song, because I don't think that the sound Party Next Door sounds like stuff that Drake's released. And even like on Take Care, when that album came out, it sounded like a Weekend album, and we kind of found out later that it was Weekend had his hands all over it, which is why I think that was probably Drake's best project. The Party Next Door project is like, it sounds like a lot of views from the Six album, and or maybe it sounds like a lot of things that were on Views from the Six sound like Party Next Door's album. And being that Party is Jamaican and he has a very distinct sound, when you listen to Views, you kind of, if a person didn't know music or didn't know the history of them, they would think that the album, Drake's album, was like Party Next Door sounding like Drake, when really it's really Drake sounding like Party Next Door. You can tell that the songs were probably originally his. Like One Dance was probably originally his, and he gave it to Drake, and they as a camp figured out that it was the best thing to do as a camp, and Drake would release that song. But and I'll tell you what, when I'm listening to the album, it starts off okay. The first three songs sound like he's underwater. I don't know what exactly filter they was putting his voice through, but it sounded like he was getting strangled underwater, and I kind of found myself fast forwarding those tracks. I couldn't wait for him to end. Now the fourth track on there, titled "Not Nice." If you listen to that song and you close your eyes, you would think it's One Dance, because it sounds exactly like One Dance. I mean, cadence, content's a little different. It's not really the same content, but voice wise and even kind of the beat wise, you can tell that it sounds like One Dance. I mean, I don't even know how else to slice it. Give it a listen. Let me know in the comments below what you think. To me, it sounds like One Dance. But then the album kind of picks up some steam. One thing I will say though, it goes into like only you, don't you know, or don't know how. Problems and Selfless, but I thought was a pretty decent track. Spiteful was pretty good, and the song is 16 tracks. I think it's about seven too many. I think if he condensed the album down, it'd been a better album. Maybe condense it down to 11. If he condensed it down to 11 tracks, I think it could be a pretty good album. Just listening to it, a couple times, I found myself wondering if one song ended and the next song started, because a lot of the songs sounded alike. Now, for me, I'm a Party Next Door fan, so I really didn't have a problem with his voice, or have a problem that some of the songs kind of went together and it sounded like one long track, because like I said, I do like him. I found myself wanting a Party Next Door album more than I wanted. After hearing Views, I definitely wanted a Party Next Door album, because I didn't think Views was really that good. But listening to it, I found myself, just listening to the album and kind of vibing with it. Very, very drum heavy, very beat heavy. You can tell he's very island, sound. And I think that that's definitely a good thing. But once again, it puts me in a mindset that I've probably heard this before. And where I've heard it from is some on Drake's projects. So, it's always rumored, and we always knew that, Party wrote for Drake, and he, gave him concepts and everything like that. But you can kind of hear it on this album. It kind of comes out a lot. And I think maybe he'd have benefited coming out first, and then Drake came out second. But, that just probably wasn't in the OVO makeup. On our podcast we talked about this week, I compared the OVO group to Hydra. And if you watch Marvel Comics, or you're watching the movies or read Marvel Comics, Hydra was a evil organization that basically had a whole bunch of people. You didn't know who was the leader. You just knew that collectively they moved in that way. And I think that's kind of how OVO does, because you have Party Next Door, you got Drake, and then you have The Vision. And they tried to get Weeknd on the crew too. I mean, they had the guest writers that Drake has for rapping. It's a whole nother subject, but you can tell that they all have the same kind of sound, and Roy Woods too, in that crew. But definitely music is different nowadays. I don't think people really care about if you write your own rhymes, and I think that's where the pocket where Drake kind of falls in. It's kind of, he's a singer and a rapper, so it's okay for having singers write for other singers, but rappers writing for other rappers is kind of a muddy point. But nonetheless, man, the Party Next Door album was it was an okay project. Just listening to it a couple times and kind of just listen to it in the car, listen to it with some headphones, and then listen to it around the house. I found myself just wanting it to end, but also, just liking it a little bit. I don't know. Will I ever listen to it again? Probably not. I probably won't go back to it. But out of 100, we rate on a scale as if it was a paper that you turn in for college. I give it a solid 71. 71. I'm okay with that. But with that being said, I think if it came out before Views, it might have been higher. And I think he's capable of making better music. I really do. And because you hear it on some songs, like the song that he put the release out, "Come and See Me" featuring Drake. He could have left Drake off, but just I think Party shines on that song, and I do think that that kind of shows the kind of talent he can put out. And then also just listening to Views, just listening to some of the island songs they're on, like Controller. You can't tell me that wasn't a Party Next Door song. Party that sounds like him, but because Drake is the leader of Hydra, or I don't know if 40's the leader, but anyways, it went to Drake, so it didn't go to Party. I think that could have been on Party Next Door's album. It'd fit better on this album. But so yeah, man, this is Nadir from GamesMusicLyfe, and like I said, it's just it's a pretty good project, but give it a listen. Let me know what you guys think. Am I tripping? Did I rate it too low? Did I rate it too high? I don't know, but I just know that he's capable of making better music, and with other stuff that's came out, Tory Lanez just dropped, and then we have Frank Ocean just put something out, which is definitely a good thing I'm gonna check out as well. I think we're gonna review that for the pod this week. But he could put better music out, because this album's gonna be very much forgettable for most people once that good other music comes out that people are gonna listen to. But so yeah, just quick review. Just want to give my reactions on what I thought of the album. Once again, this is Nadir from GamesMusicLyfe. Drink more water. Peace.